Here's what nobody tells you about wood ash. It can turn your garden soil into a death zone for plants in less than a month. I buried 3 identical tomato seedlings in soil treated with different amounts of wood ash, and what I found on day 30 shocked me. One plant thrived, one barely grew, and one, it looked like it had been poisoned from the inside out. If you've been dumping ash from your fireplace onto your garden beds because someone told you it's free fertilizer, you need to see this experiment before you ruin your next growing season. The difference between helpful and harmful is razor thin, and most gardeners don't know which side they're on until it's too late. Stick around, because I'm going to show you exactly what happened day by day, and more importantly, I'll give you a dead simple test you can do in 5 minutes to know whether wood ash will feed your plants or kill them. Welcome to Rootly Gardening. I'm here to help you grow smarter, not harder. Today, we're settling one of the biggest debates in backyard gardening. Is wood ash a miracle amendment or a silent soil wrecker? The internet is full of advice telling you to sprinkle your fireplace ashes all over your vegetable beds for extra potassium and calcium. And that's true. Wood ash does contain those nutrients. But here's the mystery loop I'm opening for you. There's one hidden factor that determines whether that ash becomes plant food or plant poison, and I didn't fully understand it until I ran this 30-day side-by-side test. I set up 3 identical pots with the same tomato variety, same soil mix, same watering schedule. The only difference, how much wood ash I added. By day 15, I started seeing changes I didn't expect, and by day 30, the results were undeniable and honestly a little alarming. Before we dive into what happened, let me ask you this. Do you know your soil's pH right now? If the answer is no, then you're gardening blind when it comes to wood ash, and that's exactly where things go wrong for most people. But don't worry, I'm going to walk you through the whole story, show you the science in plain English, and give you a clear action plan by the end. Let's dig in. Let's start with why wood ash became garden gold in the first place. When you burn wood, you're left with concentrated minerals that the tree pulled from the soil while it was growing. We're talking potassium, calcium, magnesium, and trace elements. On paper, it sounds perfect. Free nutrients right from your fireplace. The old-timers would spread ashes over their gardens every spring, and their vegetables grew beautifully. So the advice got passed down. Toss your wood ash on the garden. It's nature's fertilizer. And for some people, in some gardens, that actually works. But here's where the advice falls apart. Wood ash is powerfully alkaline, with a pH between 9 and 13. Think of pH like a volume knob for your soil chemistry. Most vegetables like their soil slightly acidic to neutral, somewhere between 6 and 7 on the pH scale. When you add wood ash, you're cranking that knob up fast. Now, if your soil is already neutral or slightly alkaline, like a lot of clay soils are, adding wood ash is like throwing gasoline on a fire. The pH shoots up even higher. And when soil gets too alkaline, something sneaky happens. Nutrients get locked up. Iron, manganese, phosphorus, they're all still in the soil, but your plants can't access them anymore. It's like having a pantry full of food, but the door's been welded shut. Your plants start showing symptoms that look like starvation. Yellowing leaves, stunted growth, burned-looking tips. And here's the cruel irony. You added ash to feed your plants, but you actually starved them.
Let me show you exactly how this played out in my 30-day test. I started with 3 tomato seedlings, all about 4 inches tall. Same age, same variety. The soil was a standard potting mix with a starting pH of around 6.5, perfect for tomatoes. Pot 1, the control, no wood ash at all. Pot 2, the recommended dose. I added wood ash at the rate recommended by agricultural extension offices, about 5 to 10 pounds per 100 square feet, which translated to roughly 1 tablespoon mixed into my 6-inch pot. Pot 3, the double dose. I doubled that amount to 2 tablespoons, simulating what happens when gardeners get enthusiastic and think more must be better. For the first week, honestly, not much happened. All 3 plants looked nearly identical. They grew at the same pace, same green color. I watered them equally, gave them the same sunlight, but I knew the clock was ticking. Around day 10, I started noticing subtle differences. Pot 2, the one with the recommended ash amount, was actually looking slightly more vibrant than the control. The leaves had a deeper green, and new growth was coming in strong. That potassium boost was showing up. But pot 3, the double dose plant, started lagging. The newest leaves looked a little pale around the edges. Nothing dramatic yet, but my gut told me something was off. By day 14, the differences were impossible to ignore. Pot 1, the control, was growing steadily, totally average. Pot 2 was thriving, easily an inch taller than the others with thick stems, but Pot 3 had stopped growing. The lower leaves were starting to curl and show intervenal chlorosis. That's the fancy term for when the veins stay green, but the tissue between them turns yellow. I ran a pH test on all 3 pots. Pot 1, still 6.5. Pot 2 had risen to 7.2, higher but still in the acceptable range. Pot 3, a whopping 8.1, way too alkaline for a tomato. By day 30, the experiment had a clear winner and a clear loser. Pot 1, the control, grew to about 10 inches tall, with healthy foliage, nothing special but perfectly fine. Pot 2, the recommended dose, was the champion, 12 inches tall, thick stems, dark green leaves, and get this, it had even started setting its first tiny flower cluster. The wood ash had delivered exactly what it promised, extra potassium for strong growth and fruit production. But Pot 3, it was a textbook case of nutrient lockout. Final height, barely 7 inches. The lower leaves had completely yellowed and dropped off. The remaining foliage was stunted and discolored. The pH test at day 30 read 8.4. I had essentially poisoned the soil by making it too alkaline. Here's the kicker. I only doubled the dose, not 10 times, just 2 times, and it was enough to wreck that plant's entire month of growth. So how do you know if wood ash is right for your garden? It all comes down to one 5-minute test. Check your soil pH before you add anything. You can grab a basic soil pH test kit from any garden center for under $10. Dig down about 4 inches, grab a small sample, mix it with distilled water, and dip the test strip. Wait 30 seconds and compare the color to the chart. If your soil pH is below 6.5, wood ash can be a fantastic amendment. It'll raise the pH gently toward neutral and deliver that potassium and calcium boost. Use it at the recommended rate, 5 to 10 pounds per 100 square feet, or about 1 cup per 10 square feet for smaller gardens. But if your pH is already above 7.0, skip the wood ash entirely. You'll do more harm than good. Instead, look for fertilizers that won't mess with your pH, like compost, well-rotted manure, or a balanced synthetic fertilizer. And here's a pro tip. Clay soils and soils in low rainfall areas tend to be naturally alkaline. Sandy soils and high rainfall regions usually run acidic. If you're not sure, just test, don't guess.
Before we wrap this up, can I ask you a quick favor? If you're finding this experiment helpful, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. We run real-world garden tests like this every week, so you don't have to learn the hard way. Your support keeps these experiments coming, and honestly, it means the world to me. All right, let's bring this home. Here's your main takeaway from the 30-day wood ash experiment. Wood ash isn't good or bad, it's conditional. It's a powerful tool that works beautifully in the right situation and backfires spectacularly in the wrong one. The difference between success and failure isn't the ash itself, it's knowing your soil's pH before you start. That 5-minute test is the line between a thriving garden and a month of stunted, yellowing plants. Your one actionable next step, go test your soil pH this week. If it's below 6.5, you've got the green light for wood ash. If it's above 7.0, save that ash for your compost pile, where it can break down more gradually, or just toss it. And remember, when it comes to soil amendments, more is almost never better. Start small, test often, and let your plants tell you what they need. Thanks for growing with me today at Rootly Gardening. Until next time, keep your soil balanced and your harvests abundant.